Hello, good morning, good day, good afternoon, evening, whatever time zone the world you all are. It's your Blue Archive Gacha whale, beginner artist self-proclaimed, and your boy Tosanyu. Welcome to the art stream. For today I will be drawing VTuber fan art of the leader of the Tempus Guild and member of Holostars English, Regis Altare. Welcome, welcome. So I'm gonna adjust my mic a little bit. Didn't really have the time to do so. Hello, random lurking weep, welcome to the stream. So I will be drawing the blue-haired dude from Holostars English. But actually there are like two blue-haired ones, I think, like with Octavia, but for today I will be drawing the leader. And you have like on the left side some samples like how I draw chibis, and this can take like about 1 to 2 hours. I read just like 2, can like take 3. I'm like pretty slow or whatever. But I think like for today I might like not draw in chibi form, not sure really. Kind of feel like that I want to like F around, find out if it like comes to like drawing nowadays. So especially after I'm like done with the kind of challenge on like drawing every single Holo member, and yeah. I'm gonna change the canvas size and gonna like see. I think I have it's like idea like what I want to do here. So came like I think like a little bit too late to the stream, I would like say maybe like 1 or 2 minutes before I like was like okay, start stream. I was like back to my little siblings to like a visit, and my Omoto, she came also back, so I could like leave the cat back to her, you know, she's like the owner. And I was like up there and was like checking in on the cat, you know. She seemed like be pretty vocal, unusually vocal, and spent like a little bit of time with her, but I was also like kind of like worrying, you know, after like hearing like some things from my Ototo, you know, like is she like off the house, what about the feeding times, you know. For, like my Ototo was like kind of like meaning like how his life with the cat is, and then like on this way kind of like drop some of our info, and I was kind of like like if she's not that much at home, it's like not really, and if there's like not really a routine, you know, it's also not necessarily like great for the cat, like mentally. Like if you have like another living being in the house that's not a human but like just an animal, you know, like a pet, then it's not also like that food, water, a place to sleep is like important, but also like the social interactions, you know, like that you're like just there for them, and so that like, you know, this kind of bond can strengthen, but they like crave connection, you know, and if you don't really give it to them, it's like, yeah, emotional damage in a sense. And it was like a week since my Emoto came back, and I was like, okay, I leave her back to you, you know. By the way, feed her like in this kind of schedule, and if it comes to like to the litter box, you know, every morning, every evening, I think like it should be kind of enough to like do, even if it's like not a schedule of like okay 8 times in a day. If she can do 3 or 2, it's like also somewhat fine, you know. Also like play with her, you know. And yeah, I came like back after a week because I was like looking to discuss something with my Ototo, nothing serious, you know, but plan like to go to Japan, and he and I want to organize that together. We were like min-maxing, and at some point when we are like, you know, when you like randomly yap, at some point like you switch up to other topics. Like the cat would like me, she would like jump around, you know, like go to the window side, sometimes approaches me, and then sometimes our conversation topic would like fall back to her. And yeah, it seems like that the cat has been like not really taken care of well into like the social aspect. Like she has been left pretty much alone. My ototo's like not really like that much often, doesn't really thing is like, this is not my cat, it's not my responsibility, it should be up to her, like the owner, you know. And I mean, it's like totally understandable, you know, but when the cat is like there and be like, man, I want connection, meow, meow, I'm so alone, please someone, you know, and he's not that much of an asshole, but it's kind of like stressful, you know, especially if you didn't sign up for that, you know, and you don't get paid also. Like if you like, you know, buy our pets, you know, then it's like, okay, this is my job, you know, and I did it to myself, so I will do that. But for him, yeah, it's kind of like that. So we wanted like to go to the root of the problem, and like see, hey, are like other stuff regarding the daily life like fulfilled? Is that okay? And it's not necessarily like there yet. So went like to check out the litter box, and yeah, I was like telling her, hey, every morning, every evening, you know. Since I informed her like by WhatsApp like about the litter box, like this is like one of the sources where you can like kind of help the cat to live longer life or so. And the setup they like had there in the household was like not necessarily like the most desirable one for a cat, so wanted to like change that up, you know, like, and wanted her to like stick to that method, you know, since it seemed like she got convinced, you know. But the thing is like, the way you read like real life interactions and like a text message is like pretty different, you know. Like I could like see the body language very apathetic, you know, could like smell the inertia, you know, kind of. And yeah, okay, inertia, I was thinking like the complex like terms, you know, but it's just like that you distance yourself, kind of like, you know, it's kind of aloof, you know, like disconnected from like the topic, I suppose. Actually, I should like stick to stuff I actually like do understand and know how to use on like terms. But yeah, apathetic kind of, you know. And it's kind of like that she realized my emoto is like, you know, a cat is like pretty cute, like the spur of the moment, hey, let me save her, I feel sorry for that little thing. But after taking care of her like for like about a year or so, like the cat, I think like one realized, hey, this takes a lot of time, and I have a life, I want to like hang out with my friends, I'm still young, you know, something like that, and I don't want to waste that. And then maybe like, if I'm away like for a few hours, it's gonna be fine, you know, then gonna go in, go out, you know, go in, go out. You don't have a routine, you know, like you get a call and, oh, I have to go, you know, they invited me, and then yeah. like TLDR kind of, or like what I kind of want to say is my Emoto had like her schedule and responsibility of taking care of the cat. They don't really match with each other. So I was like, hey, would you mind if I take her back to me? Where you and little bro, you know, don't have like all that kind of stress to like take care of that little girl, you know. And they'd be like, yeah, okay, sure, you can do that. And then yeah, he's back at my place. So if you're gonna hear like some meowing or so, or I'm talking randomly English in the middle of the sentence, or so English, if I speak randomly German in the middle of the sentence, you know like why. I've kind of considered like adopting that little girl, but at the same time, I kind of like think if I'm like becoming like a OG son, like a grandpa or so, or something close to retirement, when, you know, when I think like, yeah, maybe now ready to take another cat, you know, because most of my energy is gone, you know, and when I need some, you know, like some social... What do you call that? You need like people, or like at least an animal around you, so that you don't feel lonely. So, you know, that's the thing with like male loneliness also, right? I'm gonna try something simple, I would say. I think like for the background, we'll like keep it gray for a while. You're thinking like about like taking care of a cat and the cost of that. It's actually not that much, I would like say. I like informed myself a little bit, you know, educated myself since I like started to take care of Mew, of the cat, since like January. Like heard about a lot of like stuff, since it's gonna be like responsibility, and you want like at least make sure that the minimum requirements are like met, or like beyond that even, you know, like yeah, food, water, shelter, that's like one thing, but why would you keep a cat around, you know, just that it's like a floofball or so, and that you can like pet. There's like more to that as well, like with the social aspect, with their personality, and then like potential funny things they like can do that you can like capture on camera, you know, like how all those memes like come to be. Regarding money, it's like not really that much. It might be like in a year, not even 1k, you know, like on expenses. It's like litter box, it's like wet food, dry food, depending on like what what you decided on. Can be a mix of both, you know. Things like one-time purchases might be like food bowls, bowls in general, some toys, you know, some cat furniture. Depends, like, you know, a scratching tree, maybe a cat bed, you know. Well, not really like that much. Like a good one-time purchase for a human is like a good bed, you know. I think like the most important things is like a bed, maybe a couch, like furniture, best furniture for a human. Good bed, maybe a couch, you know, it depends. What was that really? I'm not really like that knowledgeable. A good chair is also like good. With that a table. But you know, I think like I kinda like want to live in kind of like Japanese style household or so. Kind of like with the tatami mats and that you like sit on the floor, not like on chairs or so, you know. Apparently it's pretty healthy to sit on the floor or like close to it, you know, like with those little chairs, you know, that where you're like pretty close to the ground. Would also like save me on furniture and stuff, you know. Over like all of min-maxing. I would like have a lot more space like to work around. I wouldn't like need tables that big, and then important like are things like shelves that you can like mount onto the wall, you know. And then yeah. Like min-maxing with your money. But sometimes, you know, like I don't have really an issue like with handling my money and like managing that, you know. Like if it comes to food, I am actually able to survive just with $5 like a whole week, you know. Sometimes if I want something fancier, you know, maybe like $10 or like 15, 20, you know. Like why $5? How can this be enough, you know? Like actually can like survive like $5 in a month, kind of. You know, sometimes like noodles, like, you know, like just noodles are like pretty not pricey, cheap, you know. And when you just need that, you know, eat the carbs, like you know, got into you, and then it's like fine, you know. And maybe like some onions, you know, if it's like, yeah, I can't like raw dog that, you know, something like that. But this can be like enough. And let's say you do like one-time purchase of rice, like plenty of like sacks of rice, you know, and then just throw egg or anything onto it, and then it's like fine. Anything can be like, I don't know, vegetables, can be like eggs, you know. Eggs can be like $2-3, I think. Like 10-12 egg pack or so, you know. And egg has like enough proteins to like survive, to make you survive the whole day. Like just one egg is enough, you know. And yeah, you can really like survive. I gave like a person like $20 like once, you know, like someone from the family, and what kind of like baffled me, you know, that they weren't able to like survive a whole week with like $20 or so. And then they be like, hey, I need more money. I don't know, what do you do, you know? Like, what did you do to like waste that money in such a short amount of time? Did you, like, no way you like were like, oh, I'm gonna like, I don't not really sure like how, you know? Even if you buy like the carbs itself, like bread or like noodles or so, you should be able to survive like long enough with that. Like if you talk about $5, it's kind of like a struggle, you know? But 20? I'm gonna draw it smooth first. Kinda like damns me. Like with current generation, you know? Gen Z. Like how they are not really able to like manage and understand the worth of money. No, I did not draw the wrong layer entirely. Yeah, okay. Then let's try with like one layer. This would be fan art, but at the same time, like, my way to practice. Yeah. To be honest, I should have practiced before, when I could, like, deliver a, like, more quality fan art. But I think it's better than nothing, you know? And there was, like, kind of an idea, like, circulating my head. But it depends, like, if I can, like, bring it onto paper. I probably can. Like, I have no doubt really that I can. Regarding quality, well, let's see. It's always like a gamble for me. Like, a lot of like things you can do are like gambling. Not necessarily like the dangerous kind of type where like get bankrupt and then it ruins your whole life. It's just like, you know, I will get something really amazing or just something, you know, that you can like work with at the very least, right? Like you never, it's like never like an all-in where you go like, you know, either you win and don't have to work for the whole life, or like you do forever. And it's not really like that, you know. Like if you get something cool, that's amazing, and if not, I mean, you still have like another, you know, you still have like the rest of the life in front of you, you know. But when some people like, do it again, you know, and then and then they gamble like for their whole life. But sometimes, you know, it can be like fun, like to like go like that, I suppose. Like maybe some of the reasons like why some people don't like free give out gacha, you know, and stay free to play still. They are like fine with like some of those events with like, hey, you get like free pulls every day, like during anniversary, and be like, okay, fine, you know, and they don't go like beyond that. It's kind of like, okay, let's see what the pull is. Do I get something cool? Do I get something normal rarity? You know, and if it's like normal rarities, I mean, it's like something. And then, but sometimes they're like people who like do that, like use this like the horoscope or so, you know. If they get like the SSR, it's like, okay, I've got like for today. And if it's like normal, then okay, just live like normally, you know. To be honest, I'm somewhat like believing in those kind of stuff. At least like kind of like based on astronomy, but can also be like fraud, you know. Who knows? But I'm like somewhat believing in like that thing. It's kind of like my kind of response to that is like somewhat like the JoJo like meme there, like, that's bullshit, but I believe it. And somewhat like that, my reaction to that. Make it cuter, I suppose. He has a new outfit, right? Like with the suit. Could have drawn it like that. Actually, the suit fits him. Yeah, whatever. You know, regarding like the money thing, it doesn't really depend on like how much money you have. It's always like, how do you play with the hand that has been dealt to you, something like that. And when I give like someone 20 bucks, they use it all up within a week. And then they need more in order to survive. I don't know, you know. I think I cannot trust this person. Like that, a good starter hand. It's like not 5 bucks, but like 20 bucks. But yeah. It's not necessarily like my money, you know. Someone was like, hey, someone in the family needs that, can you give them this amount? You can take it like from my money, my stash I left at your place, and then yeah, okay. But it's kind of like, you know, kind of baffling, like a few days later, hey, this person needs more. Can you give another 20? And then be like, okay, but at the end, actually, it's kind of like fine if I don't give, you know, since like in the fridge and just like still like some food. You can like cook rice. I'm sure you can do that. Or there like some instant ramen, you know. And yeah, I don't think this is a real issue. But kind of like, man. Maybe this should be like my kind of video I should like do, you know, like Mr. Beast style. I give one random person on the world, like one random on the street I come across like 20 bucks, and and the one who like survives like a whole week of that is gonna be the winner. And I have like here 10 candidates. Who will survive? I feel like Mr. Beast would be like kind of like with more money, you know? Or like, I have one person here in the supermarket. How long can he survive in this place? Yeah. They can't react to my like imitation. Sorry, Marcel. Maybe like make it simplistic with the design. I think like I make like a border here. It's like something 2-panel. Do I use a ruler or not? Usually I don't use one. Let's see. No, I don't need one. I can just do it by bare hand. That's fine. Like double for good measure. Triple. Yeah, that's fine. I do something short. Sometimes I had like those kind of manga strips ideas. I think like I will try to do one. But it's nothing too big. But something like people can like relate with. Maybe. I don't know. But it's like somewhat based on a meme I like saw. I think like you're gonna like learn about the joke or like this kind of like ha 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 and then doom, I don't know. And yeah, like once I've posted it. I think like it's fine if I post it on Twitter, I suppose. Even though I really don't like the site anymore. I don't really have a reason to like improve my art and like try to like gain numbers there, since it's kind of futile. And I see like kind of like some trends there regarding like my art is good, algorithm just hates me, you know. I sometimes think, yeah, my art, like back in days I would like be pretty cocky and be like, my art is pretty good, you know. My art is pretty good. I should get more numbers. Why don't I get numbers? But nowadays kind of like I look at my art and be like, yeah, it's okay. It's not amazing, but it's kind of good. It's kind of like, you know, okay, you know, it's kind of okay. But sometimes, you know, like back in the days, you know, even if I like slowly gained like this kind of mindset, you know, I look at someone else and else is be like, how can they have like more numbers than me? The art is not that good here. You know, something like that. But I think, suppose, you know, either like things go well or like they don't, you know, and if like other people just have like goods, I mean like fine, it's like great. It gives like a good amount of confidence boost, and you can get momentum with that, like try to like move forward like further and further. I think like, for example, like, you know, like one of the good examples would be like this Frieren trend, you know, like where they draw, well, a lot of artists drew her like from this one specific angle, right? And I think this was like pretty nice one, you know. Like I wanted to try that too. And yeah, it's not really easy, but you know, it's a bit whack when you like see the beginner artists, you know, and then they're like still at level 1, but they'll be like, okay, let me like try at level 100, and then they gloriously fail, but it kind of like inspires like even those that are like kind of mid-level, or like those that are already pro, you know, didn't even touch a level 100 yet, you know, hey, let me try that, you know, and then okay, this last attempt went, and I can give you this and this on tips, you know, then like, wow, thank you, you didn't need to, but you know, but it's kind of like cool, you know, like how those kind of like trends can bring like one far. Sometimes it's not necessarily about like your skill, but creativity, of course, you know, like how to use the hands, you know, that's been dealt to you, like the cards, how to use them. Something like that. Okay, it has been like 40 minutes, but I kinda like had to like think about what I had to draw and then sketch a little bit, so this can take extra time. Even I like yapping, you know, like the idea's in my head already. It's just like about like putting on the paper and like, not paper, and the screen to be like really accurate, you know. Sometimes I take like my words a little bit too serious. Like back in the days I would take this a lot, you know. Okay, give me a moment. Well, or I say like, give me a second. But it has been already a second. I mean, give me a moment. Okay, now we can talk, you know, something like that. They take it at face value, you know. I always wanted to correct them and be like, hey, I thought I knew grammar better, you know, but it doesn't. But nowadays, it's like, I don't really care, you know. And I sometimes add like some little mistakes to like my speech as well, and be like, yeah, it's more funny if I speak this way, you know, I suppose. And if other people be like pointing out, actually, it's supposed to be like pronounced like that, when, I mean, yeah, I can, like, sure, you know. I kind of like, you know, when I encounter those kind of moments, kind of like calls straight back to like back then, like how I acted, and be like, ah, okay, this is like how people felt, huh? But yeah. Usually there should be like cringe, you know. If you get like cringe, it's kind of like a character growth, because yeah. But like the way I like feel about it is like not necessarily like, you know, that I like that inside. It's kind of like, yeah, okay, this is like how it was. And then yeah. But I kind of like can smile about that and just move on, you know. It's like nothing too serious, nothing too important, you know. So how do I do this one? Let me see. Let me see. Like something like that, you know. That's a close-up. You know, like those characters that always have their eyes like closed? How can they see actually? You know, like characters like Brock from Pokemon. How I see the world, how they see the world. Something like that. I think they open the eye like a little bit by a little bit. I remember like I saw this kind of picture like years ago, but I cannot find it anymore. I don't even know how it's called. It's a little bit weird. Like to try find a picture based on a description, you know. Something like that. That there's like a little bit of eye here. That looks like that. And how dark the eye rings or something like that are. Okay, I don't know how this works. Kind of like this. Kind of like this, you know. Might be like creepy, but I suppose it kind of like fits to like the presentation of like how Altare presented himself, like as a bit, you know. And the demon god king, Argus. Yeah. I think like only one eye should be like. I need to like zoom this like differently. I think like the next time we're gonna draw like Holostars fan art can be like something more optimistic. Like I kind of like feel like, yeah, I kind of like want to like go doom gloom for now, and then like afterwards I can be like, yeah, let's go, we're happy, let's have like the optimism, like winner mentality, you know, something like this. Winner mentality, what do I mean by that? Like, even despite everything, you know, despite like all the things in life that like it can suck and so on, you can still try your best, you know. And even if like things like, you know, will not like go well and can like lead to a game over, you know. I mean, you tried your best, you know. You tried at the very least with the hand that has been dealt to you. And let's say it's like not a good hand, you know. But if you still try and you make the best out of it, it's like great, you know. Oji-san, I'm here again. Hello Kotomi, welcome. You made it here, let's go. Even though it's kind of like, I don't know, pretty early at your place. How you doing? It's 10 to 8, but I have a test. Alright, man, I wish you success in that one. You can surely like do it. I'm good, how have you been, Oji-san? I would like say I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. It could be better, but I'm doing okay for now. I think like my mentality, my current like mindset of like taking like things not too seriously and just live is like working for now. I had like a little bit of freedom when I didn't have to take care of the cat anymore, and this gave me like enough time to recharge. But cat is like back at my place again since Imoto-chan has difficulties, and I was like asking, hey, I see like that you have issues, can I take her back with me? And they'd be like, yeah, sure. And then yeah, she's back at my place again. The kitty, yeah. I'm glad you're decent, lol. I mean, yeah. I mean, like it's good if everyone is like doing good, you know. And sometimes I feel like, you know, hey, Tosan, are you feeling good? And I'd be like, yeah, I have to. And then yeah. Well, it doesn't like hit the same if I say it in English, you know. In German it sounds like a lot more smooth talking, kind of. That's kind of like in the sense of like, you know, hey, you still alive? I thought you were dead, you know. You're still alive? Yeah, I must, you know, something like that. Of course I have to survive, duh. Something like that, you know. This is kind of like the thing, like how I mean, like, you know, hey, are you doing good? And be like, duh, of course I'm doing fine, I must, you know. Something like that. I have a little bit of idea, but not really sure like how well I can like put this onto paper, or like paper onto like the screen. Yeah, there's been some streams I could join, but I was trying to not spoil the BA story. It felt like abstinence. Yeah, you have like the knowledge, you know, and you could like tell some stuff, but you have to hold back, you know. I mean, once you like, let's see, saw something, you cannot unsee it, you know. But now you have the knowledge of that, and you cannot like see the world the way it was like before, because now you like apply that knowledge. But this knowledge is like kind of powerful, you know, and you can either use it like for good, you know, and use it when it's like appropriate, or you're gonna be like, hey, I know what's gonna happen next, there's gonna be this and this and this, and then it's like, oh man, why do you spoil the story? And it's like, yeah, this is like the one thing that it can also like happen. But yeah, with great power comes like great responsibility, you know. So if you have like some knowledge, you know, knowledge is like power, and you got this power, you know, you can like wield in different ways, and if you chose like to not spoil anyone, fantastic, you know. Yeah, I feel like spoilers are useful to build up hype sometimes, but when it's a linear story, it's dangerous. Yes. At the very least, you can like put out some trailers, you know, or like PVs, and when people like think, hey, it looks cool, like now I'm interested to like check that out, then, you know, fine, you know. I mean, usually trailers or PVs, they have like spoiler, but it's like a snip, like a little of a snippet, you know. And I mean, like, Blue Archive also has like PVs. Like 4.5 is PV4 is like the with the most views, with the most like clicks or so. Because like features like volume F, like final volume F, volume final, something like that, you know. And it's like one of the strongest volume. Like where our miracles begin. Like basically like this is the title of like volume F. You remind me of the trailers of the Pirates or Pirates of the Caribbean. They're literally just a random scene from the movie. Yeah. It can be random, it can be like, you know, well crafted and like building up hype, you know. But yeah, generally it's like well thought out like with those trailers. I'm so excited to watch it. I've been so busy lately, but the curiosity is eating me up. Well, you get your charts at some point. But I mean at the same time, when you have like time to like tune to the stream, maybe like for 20 minutes, you know. I mean, yeah. Somewhere you like to set your priorities, kind of. Sometimes I kind of like not watch a full stream actually, but I'm like, it's like enough for like stay for 15-20 minutes, you know, and then okay, I have to go off, but I left at like, you know, something like that. But yeah, if I had more time, you know, then I probably like can like give it a watch. But at the same time, now that the cat visits with me, sometimes I cannot like watch a movie in like one go. Otherwise in the middle she's like, food, I want a food, you know, you can play with me or whatever, and yeah. But when she was not there, I could like watch actually like Joker, like movie that was kind of like booming like around the beginning of the 2020s, you know. And I never was like able to watch it, but yesterday I was able to, no, the day before yesterday, and it's good. I tested in half an hour, so sad. I wish I had a free day. Well, you will have always a free day in the future, you know. Like, despite everything, you still have to move on, you know, kind of. Even if it's like pain, like life sometimes. I feel like I have to zoom that in. Like my work days, let's say like I don't enjoy like work really anymore. But I appear at work because, you know, I'm paid to do that, you know, this is my job. Like I have to come. It's not necessarily like things like, you know, like audible things like, nah, I can't leave my comrades behind, you know. I cannot leave them to their fate, I have to help them. For me it's just like, you know, it's just like a day like any other, you know. And even if I don't like work, I will not be like forever there. I can like find some alternative. Like currently, like with a full-time job, I do like earn a lot of money. But I'm kind of like thinking that I'm gonna switch up to a part-time job like next year. And then with that, I've like a lot more time like for streaming and like content creation. Actually, I have to like work on some projects, you know, but let's say like my energy is like always lacking to like finish those. Or like rather like energy can also make motivation also. Now that the cat is back like for 1 or 2 weeks, it will be like slower, but it's like moving forward, you know. OMG, yeah. with a part-time job I won't really like earn that much money, but I will have more time. And let's say like work is important, yes, but time, you know, like with work you can get money, but time is something you cannot get back, you know. Money you can always earn, you know, but time is not a replenishable resource. It's like really limited. Of course, there are like things that can like how do you say that? Where you gain like more, you can like gain more years on your life, you know, like eating healthily, doing exercises, you know. But if you like overwork your body, you know, you can like not restore it in time, then yeah. That's amazing, I wish you luck. Work too much takes time, you won't get back. Yes. But with the money I've earned, I actually could use that to maybe like make a new model. I could like ask an artist to make a model for me, maybe like a rigger. Or I make the art myself, who knows. Like it costs a few bucks, you know, like a few $1,000 I suppose. But like money wise it shouldn't be an issue, and I think like a model looks like pretty nice. It's not really like a must have, you know, but would be like great. And I have like actually like something of ideas in mind, like we're gonna like see like if I would like have a live 2D model. I'm like pretty sure 1K is like easy to like reach, but I'm gonna like see. It's not really easy, you know, you still have to work hard, of course. I'm gonna like see what I can like do. For now, you have like to deal with my PNG here and those kind of layout what I have like right now, but gonna like see if I'm gonna survive until then, of course. It's exciting! Yeah. I think like it's always like nice to live a life with like something to look forward to, you know? If I gonna live for long enough, I can like see, oh, the next episode of the anime like I love is like coming out. For now, I'm like kind of waiting like for JoJo Bizarre Adventure Steel Ball Run, like for the next episode to come out. It's kind of like, yeah, next episode is like maybe in a month? Maybe 2 months? I don't know. Something like that. It's like pretty vague. It's kind of like, yeah. Like weekly release, okay, but like don't delay too long to kill the hype. The biggest antagonist in JoJo is Netflix. Oh, I want to finish that anime. I think I left it at the second arc. Second arc. This is like part 2 with like battle tendencies, where the new JoJo's like Joseph Joestar. The next thing you gotta say is something like that, you know. Joseph is like my favorite JoJo for now. Yeah, such a good memory, wow. Yeah. It has been like a while since I like watched part 2, but I still like it, you know. This is like actually like where the writer had like kind of an awakening. I like him more in the first JoJo TBH, but I'm too picky, so yeah, part 1 is like the weakest part. But then from there on, you will be like rewarded, and the things like part 1 is like also important like for later on, and like Speedworker and Foundation, you know, Speedworker my boy. he will be shout outed like a lot like in the latest like parts as well. Or like things like Dio, you know, as well. People like Dio. But yeah, you saw probably like some memes like regarding that, and then it's like, yo, that did the thing, you know. You thought it would be like archery, but it was for me, Dio. No. Kisama, how many humans' blood did you suck? Do you remember how many bread you ate in life? Urgh! Like those kind of little dumb things, you know. But yeah, JoJo Part 2 is like kind of like fun. I must like say. I like this part like where the Pillar Man can like end, where it goes like hi yeah 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 yeah, and then they're like three kind of like half naked men like chat build and just like posing bam bam, you know, while like the pillar like breaking like the stone statue like come to life, and then you know, something like that. He's not a villain, he just likes money, he's just a real guy in a fake world, SMH. Yeah. I mean, there's two characters, you know. Like the first 3 episodes in part 1 were like strong, in like the episode 9. Like those were like the strongest part of part 1. Like in between it's kind of like, yeah, a little bit too long. Like just like about the shown kind of formula of like learning some sunshine kung fu and then like fighting like as people, you know, like my friends, you fight people and on your way like to the big bad or so, and then have your final showdown. Rata! Thunder cross split attack! Ha! You fell for it! Thunder cross split attack! That's like some kind of memes like that, yeah. But I would like say, if you like continue like part 2, finish it, and then go over to part 3. Part 3 of JoJo is pretty long. But if you're like done with that, part 4 might be long as well. Because it like kind of like feels like a lot of filler, kind of, but actually it's like, like Gintama a little bit, you know. You have such a good memory. I watched this like some months ago, but you remember more than me. Yeah, like I remember the memes, you know. I remember the memes. But it's like pretty like absurd and like bizarre as well, you know, like Bizarre Adventure, right? Like how they take like so seriously like those dumb things. That it doesn't take itself seriously at some point, you know. Like when you explain like someone like the JoJo like plot is like very whack, you know. Like the first like scene of like where like Joseph Joestar like came in, you know, like one dude like pickpocketed him, you know, and then he's got like caught by a policeman, and then like he's about to arrest this boy, then no, he didn't, I gave it to him, and then whatever, I'm gonna arrest him, you know, and then pointed the gun at like JoJo, and then the usual like play would be like, yeah, he shows like some amazing technique like with brawling, you know, and like defeats him, but for some reason like he just did something to a cola bottle he held in his hand, you know, that like starts fizzling up, and then the bottle would like, you know, like when a cola bottles like explode, then something is gonna like pop out with the least amount of resistance, and in this case was like kind of like the cap, the bottle cap, you know, that would like spring out, and this like hurts the finger of like the police officer or so, and then with that he lets his weapon like drop and be like, what happened, you know, and then let's go Smokey, let's run away, and then it's kind of like whack, you know, like what? Cola bottle? Flying bottle cap? It This how he disarmed like a police officer. What are you talking about, man? Yeah, but this right here is super cool scene, you know? Then yeah. But JoJo Part 3 is gonna be like a lot more weird text, a lot more weird to explain, you know? There's like a scene like where there are like some ghosts punching each other, you know? Like, oh, Muda, 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 you know? And then this road roller scene, like where Dio like comes in. Like, even if I tell you like what's gonna happen later, it's like so unbelievable and so wack, you know, that you don't take it seriously, and you will still have a good experience if you like going later. It's very interesting. If you imagine those interactions, it gets very funny. Yeah. It sure does. And the thing is, like, humans can't like see those stands or so. I mean, they're basically like ghosts. It's kind of like only other stat user can recognize another stat user. This must be the work of an enemy stat. Or something like that. And there's like some interesting scene in JoJo Part 3 where Araki more or less like predicted like the Twin Tower incident. You know, like where there was a terrorist kind of like attack there. And it was like drawn before like the incident happened, and some people like pointed out, hey, can be that you referenced that? No, I didn't reference anything, I just like randomly drew it, but hey, it's like aligns with like a real life happening. Oh, okay, what a coincidence, you know, something like that. They can't? They what? Yeah. There was like something like that in the manga, you know. Like, the manga started like somewhere, like JoJo Bizarre Adventure started somewhere in the 80s, you know. It's pretty old, but Araki Sensei, like who is the creator of the manga, is like, was this time like pretty much ahead like in terms of storytelling, you know. And like with some real life events, I suppose. I say like Twin Tower, but it's like has a different name, but I can't really remember it anymore. Like, I think like the history lessons in like Germany, they don't really like educate you about like US really that much. Like our history lessons like mostly contain like things about World War and then like geography, something like that, yeah. And like the bad things like Hitler has like done, and then yeah, something like that. Kind of like building a stigma, something around like that. But if we look like at history lessons in like US events, like probably something different. But yeah, JoJo is like pretty like wild. I like the antagonist in like JoJo Part 4. With Yoshikage here. But we don't get taught about that here, we just find out lol. I see. Well, if you're interested, I mean like, you will like seek out that topic like for yourself and like read about it. If not, it will like randomly like account. It would be like a random account at some point. Yeah, random account. Kind of weird to like use video game terms, terminology in like real life like conversation or so. But I suppose, you know, it can work. I mean, at some point, like the Gen Z slang will be like accepted. Which should be like weird. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be quite a shock if you find something about it randomly one day. Yeah. It will surely be. Like, yeah, with the German painter, you know, the famous painter. It's somewhat like a taboo topic or so more or less, you know, because he did like some really bad things. Rather than like taboo topic, it's kind of like, yeah, kind of like you want to tiptoe around that, I suppose, especially like during today's kind of generation or so, that like also sensitive, you know. What do I mean like with sensitivity? You know, it's like somewhat like when normies like come into like your hobby, you know, like anime or so, and when they are just complaining, you know, just instead of just, you know, enjoying the media, something like that. It's a little bit weird, you know, something like that. That you can't like have a normal discussion, you know, to talk like normally about some stuff. No, that you have like to tiptoe around like the feelings of someone. Yeah. Like, I mean, it's like for me like pretty much fine if like someone disagrees with me, you know. At least if I can at least understand where they come from, you know, what's the reason for like having this kind of stance, you know. I feel it's like okay, you know. Some people like when Vocaloid fandom got filled with normies, it broke my heart. Yeah. I don't like know if it's addressed like anything like currently, recently, but I saw like something like with AI usage, you know, something like that. And the thing like currently the topic of the AI is like a thing, and like you can like argue voice banks, Vocaloid. That is AI, right? Nah, this AI, I don't like if I F about like this Vocaloid thing, and it's like I mean yeah, but this is like a whole culture of Vocaloid, you know? And like a lot of banger songs came out of that. And it took like a lot of effort actually like to do those Vocaloid songs, you know? Something like that. But if you like generate, like generative AI, it's like, you know, all the effort is like gone, you know? You didn't really like do it yourself. Like the hard work to create something, it's not necessarily the same. Stop! I hate it when people start calling my wife AI. Yeah, I'm kind of laughing weekly, but it's kind of like, I mean, yeah, you can't really deny it. It's kind of like yes, but also no. But at the same time, you kind of have to like understand, you know. You don't have to necessarily agree, but it's also like, yeah, it's somewhat, but at the same time, no. To be honest, I think like the voice bank thing can be like a pretty cool stuff, especially like if they giving the allowance to like use that, you know. Then you can make music or like, I don't know, whatever like with those voices. I'm dying, you're laughing, don't expect it. Let's say like, I'm not really like that deep into the Vocaloid like kind of thing. I just like saw like some video like randomly like a few months ago, and it was basically a rant about like, you know, Vocaloid doesn't equal AI or so. And like how some normies come like in. It's like kind of like how I kind of like had, I guess, is that what you're talking about? It's probably like that, right? You know. I'm not deep into Vocaloid, but my wife is my life. For real, for real. Yeah. I do like the different versions, like from Hatsune Miku, more or less. You know, like with every kind of song that comes out, there's like a new version of like Miku, you know. There's so many freaking figurines out there, man. Like I recently saw like that the bunny hole Hatsune Miku got like released, at least like announced, and she will come out in like next month. I'm kind of like interested in like getting like this figurine. Maybe they will have that in stock like if I get to Japan at some point. Like I kind of like this bunny hole version of like Hatsune Miku. I don't know, like usually I was not much into like bunny girl suits, but more and more it's kind of like, you know, when you get older that your interests are like changing, that your taste is like adjusting. I think it's something like that. When I like also like listen to like Bunny Girl by Akasaki, you know, Ya no hajimari sa Bunny Girl, you know, like this one song. There's also like, oh, actually, I might have a thing for bunny girls. Why not? It's dope! I mean, it was like back in the days. I think it was something like about this leather texture, like the fishnets also, on like those, around the leg area, you know? And how it's too much skin also. Wow, like in the kind of day, I kind of like prefer when they have like a lot of clothing, like doesn't expose too much skin or something like that, or at least like swimsuits, you know? Like in terms of like not exposing too much skin, let's say like long scarf, you know, long sleeves, like a mage's robe, a wizard robe or so, and then let's say like the sleeves are like way too long or whatever. It was kind of moe. I think like I was like kind of attracted to the moe rather than like the hot thing, kind of. But as I kind of got older, I suppose, you know, my mind opened up more to other ideas, and yeah. But it's kind of like weird as well, because when I was younger, you know, I'd be like, man, I like those girls that are like 15, 16 or so, they're like around my age, but as I get older and older and older, and it's still like the same kind of girls, and be like, holy crap, am I an lolicon? Huh? What? Am I dangerous now? No, it's kind of like weird, you know. Like as you get older, of course your taste adjust, but if you, for example, still like the same thing, you know, and then yeah, I don't know. But at the same time, those are fictional characters, you know. Like you do know what's reality, what's like fiction. So if you like know that, it's like fine. But if you like be like a normie and be like, yo, you should be imprisoned, you like kids in this kind of way, I don't know. Like real life, I think like nobody would really do that. I at least wouldn't do that. Exactly, fiction's not the same as reality. Soda. But I think like regarding the bunny girl, Miku, I pretty much like her vibes, and when I watch like, when I played and watched like the anime of like needy girl overdose, you know, like anime is like out now, I kind of felt like, yeah, maybe it's like the mischievousness, like the expression or so, I don't know. Yeah, we took a pause on the bunny girl topic, yeah. It was just like about the character design, you know. But yeah, I started to like it. But you know, when you do research about bunnies and like how they reproduce, kind of like, wow, scary. They can do that for a very long time. And then you imagine, okay, that's why Bunny Girl. That I use like this kind of like thing. It's kind of like, oh gosh. You know. And if you especially like... Sorry kids, I'm kind of weird. I think if I'm gonna debut like with a new model, I'm gonna be like pretty open that I'm weird. So that people don't go under my expectations. Yeah. But you know, I got a thing for bunny girls, I suppose. Kimi ni ageru wa bunny girl. I'm gonna leave myself up to you, bunny girl. And then you know. As me, much people would die, I pay death, but still, yes. But they can be like pretty cute actually, like as a pet for example. Especially if you let them roam around, rather than like being like trapped in a cage. But I think for my wife... I also like the Mesugaki Hatsune Miku. I don't know like if you can call it Mesugaki. But it's like this one with the Uno themed like song, you know. Mimi Kawa, nice try. Sako, Sako. You know, this one, yeah. I've heard like bunny girls are like a combination of Neko and Puppy. You could say so. Oh, so babe, she's so cute. Yeah. I like the colors that like come out of that. I like this one cool thing about the Vocaloid, I would like say. That it like attracts some utaite, you know, like those who like cover Vocaloid songs, you know, and then yeah. Usually my only issue like with Vocaloid was like pretty much that I don't really like listening to the synthesized voice, you know, back in the days, because I liked it more like natural, like when a human sings it. But nowadays I can like slowly more accept it actually, you know. Yeah, the covers can be like pretty funny. Like some people kind of like pronounce idiot also. But what's like interesting, they all like use still the same subtitles as the original, you know, and which is like, it is like 90% accurate, but there's some like some funny translations and be like, yeah, but you know, I don't mind to be honest. Oh wow, really are different. I struggled to accept human voices before. Yeah, I think like, yeah, like your taste will adjust. You're gonna be older, you're gonna be more accepted, you know, you only have one life, you know. If you like close the door on too many things, how can you find joy, you know? Of course, for some people it's like a lot more difficult if they have allergies or so, like to something not digital but like to something real, you know, then yeah. But yeah, things that are fiction, things that are like in form of data, they're not really dangerous, I suppose. Actually, data that's not dangerous. Now that I think about it, the only times it can be dangerous is if you like log into a game when there's a virus. Let's say if you log into a game, it's like Sword Art Online. Huh. You can throw hands with a virus? Actually, this would be a cool concept. Actually, no, this exists already, you know, like Mega Man, yeah. Battle networks or so. But actually, you know, just think out the thought about you can throw hands with a virus, you know, actually, like not a bacteria, but actually like a computer virus out of data. My test is starting, I'll be back, oh geez. Alright, I reached a success. I might be like done by then, but reached a success. But yeah, there are like actually like some fights you can like do against like viruses, even without like Sword Art Online full dive or so. Like this doesn't even exist still, but you know, there was like something of a Toho virus, you know, where you have to like to play Toho Mountain of Faith on lunatic mode and clear that without a continue. And this is like how you can beat the virus. I'm not really sure like how this one was called, but I saw like some randomly. And this was like, yo, the perfect like amount of like challenge and like beating the odds, you know. And this was like, you know, something I was like kind of attracted to. Kind of found it interesting. But to be honest, this was kind of like popcorn, like popcorn video, popcorn food also in a sense that you like watch something, immerse yourself into it and be like, yo, if I'm like in this situation, I'm sure like I can survive or something like that, you know. Sure, I think I can do that, you know. If you like watch like things like Takeshi's Castle or like those, okay, someone trapped in a house, you know, for every hour like they're in there, they like they get like 1k or so, you know, they cannot leave. And then how long can you stay, you know, something like that. And I'd be like, oh, I can sure like survive days, and then they like or like make a few hours, and then, you know, something like that. Like those kind of like popcorn entertainment, I suppose. I watch like some things like that, and like with the Tor virus like kind of like case, and kind of, yeah, was like kind of like that idea like interesting, you know, to like yeah, I probably could do that better, you know, something like that. But you're never in a situation, you know, especially like things like Evangelion, for example, like when Shinji doesn't want to go on the robot and then like falls in despair, like he's not your typical hero, for example, like of an anime where it's like Goku and or something like that, and like power up or whatever, power friendship, but it's just like normal dude, you know, 70-year-old. He never asked for like being in the situation of like, you know, fighting for the world or world destruction or whatever. I haven't like seen Evangelion, to be honest, but you know, something like that. There are people like the isekais, you know, they're like, yo, let's go, I get a harem of superpowers and so, but in the most cases, you know, you get like, let's say you're not like KO'd into oblivion by a truck, but you've been summoned to the world like, you know, unwillingly. Just like you were like, hey, having your party, or like you're writing your exam or whatever, or you were like watching some porn, and then all of a sudden you're like in another world, and then nobody, I didn't ask for that, you know. Why did you have to go to robot and like fight the demon lord? No, I want to go back home. And then it's kind of like, you know, if that was me, I could surely like beat the demon lord. Nah, you have to be in the same position in the first place, you know, because this guy wasn't prepared prematurely, and then yeah, something like that. And the realistic case is like that the human would just die also. But in a lot of cases, you know, it's like the story continues, like the main character gets more power-ups, and then the human can for some reason like beat like the magic and the monsters, whatever, in the world, and then yeah, it's kind of like this. Because if it's like just ends after like this one chapter, it's like kind of boring. So you kind of have to like stretch that, and which is understandable at the same time, you know. Could be like more interesting. Could be like at most like make like one shot or like something in a mini story. Like Mushoku Tensei, I think like there was something of a realistic depiction of like how Isekai actually looks like. Like if a human gets like summoned to like a fantasy world, what would like happen? Like of course like the summoning has like something to do with like with the demon like summoning, you know, like summon creatures from another world, and then they lend you your power, and they're like pretty strong also. And if you like fail like the summoning circle, whatever, they can like turn, like if you don't really follow the contact really, or like if you summon it wrong, then it can lead into like something really dangerous, even like death or so. No, something like that. But what is about summoning other humans? You know, when they have power? How? What is the logic out there, you know, really? Because if I summon a monkey, it's not a magic monkey, it's just a monkey, you know, something like that. If I summon a human, then it's just a human, you know. They might be intelligent, they have like some knowledge about the real world, but how can you apply that to the Middle Ages or so, whatever, you know? Like, what does, like, you know, using a smartphone help you in the other world? You know, reincarnate a world with a smartphone. I haven't watched anime, you know, so it's kind of like I can't really like talk about that really. But you know, turning on the microwave, make some instant ramen, turning on PC, and like know how to like use Google Chrome or so. It doesn't really like help much the other world, you know. And then yeah, oh, we give them powers, you know. Oh, then it's like a video game, and you know, it's kind of like this could have been like Sword Art Online. This could have been a video game actually, rather than like actual fantasy world with like different races or so, you know. Actually, I could use like a thicker brush for that. Oh. Let me like try. Wrong layer, but whatever. I'm gonna start again. I'm spending more time yapping rather than like trying actually. I think for the most part, like the setting of like second chances. If I think like about like some movie, you know, not an anime. It's like they make an adventure, and then they come out of like as a different human out of from there. I think like the Forbidden Kingdom was this anime, was not anime, like movie, like with Jackie Chan there. It was like some US dudes who likes martial arts, you know, who gets like that gets reincarnated or so, not reincarnated, like isekai. I can't like spoiling it, but this money was so old. Like 40 years or so? Like I'm sure like over the statute of etiquette, I suppose. But yeah, basically like isekai, then fulfills his purpose, comes back, then yeah, he knows like shit he knows from the that he get in another world or so. But I think like you could break this formula. Or like that you don't really take anything away from there. Maybe your personality will like be much more mature, you know, something like that, but not necessarily that you whatever. I cannot draw. This will be this one. Yeah, I'm not AI. I had like a little bit of idea in mind, but I cannot like draw it. I'm like struggling drawing it. I think like I need like something. I think like the one thing that can make the second panel like a lot more different and special is like the amount of details I need to draw there. Like the first one's pretty simplistic, but what's like the one thing that can like decide everything is like how I do the second one, the aura of that, and then like a lot darker, and that need to work with the shadows as well, like the grayscaling, yes, something like that. I think like I do everything in one layer, like free flow. I don't need to stop to like erase or so. Or maybe I should, yeah, erase sometime, but like not like stopping like between like those layers. Yeah, something like that. To be honest, there are like many isekai out there, but I haven't like witnessed many like isekai endings. I can remember like Zero no Tsukaima, but this series didn't really end it because the author died before he could like write the ending. Actually, the anime has like an ending as already, so like original ending though. To like at least let end on some notes, but it's kind of like, you know, what would have been the idea actually? How do you end isekai story actually? Light novel wise, Mushoku Tensei ended more or less. There's still a sequel though, but there is an ending. There's a fate for like the there's something of a fate for like Rudius there, and it's kind of like, you know, it's an ending for the character. Okay, pretty nice, you know. But yeah, if I think like about slop like Rising of the Shield Hero. I don't know. Because there's too many issues. Slime, I kind of have enough from that. But if it will like actually end, I would like maybe take a look, you know, like how this will go, how this is going. ReZero, I really have to wait for anything there. Like the arcs and everything are like pretty nice, you know, but I'm pretty like curious on like how will it end, you know, like how do you end like isekai stories. You saw that online, huh? They are like, this not be the isekai, you know. But at the same time, somewhat of the principles are like the same, like about a different worlds. And then that you like gain that you like take the experiences from that you like spend in the game like within to the real world, you know. And like with that, you have like something. It's a little bit too whack with the writing or so, I suppose. You know, like Kyatto was in the world of like guns and bullets, you know, when he comes into like the world of like sword and magic, and when he's like, oh, your magic's not even faster than a bullet, you know, I can react to them. It's like, dude, it's just a game, you know. And I think like in Gangai Online was like, okay, when someone aims at you, you can like see a line and you can like dodge that line or so. But when like what was interesting, like when a different writer approached it like this concept, you know, I think it was for alternative Gangai Online, it was like that you can also like make the line invisible, you know, that you don't shoot like with the assist like of the game, but like you shoot with a raw skill, you know. Like, let's say you're real life a soldier, or you're like some kind of gun nerd, you shoot a lot of this thing, that you don't really need a game assist, and when you choose a raw skill, and then that's like when the line's invisible, also. And this make like meta, and like reading, and like, you know, things like predictability, like a lot more ambiguous. Like a lot more fun. That's not necessarily like, yo, the better player wins. Actually, even the weaker guy can win if they at least like plan, had a strategy, something in mind. This what made it like pretty fun. I think like at least like season 1 was like fun. When there was season 2, and then like doesn't really have anything of a compelling setting or like story. It was just like the enemy game, and that's about it. It was like fun, but not necessarily like, you know, you don't take anything away from it, like a message or so. Like not too big of a message. But because this was online, you know, still like receive anime with like the talent of like some animators, you know. It was kind of something like shonen slop, I would like say, but it was fun. But if we can use the talents for like that like produced this shonen slop, you know, into like something masterpiece, like, man, it would be amazing. But there's like a lot of disappointment sometimes. And sometimes I think like they can use like those dark fantasy like kind of like series, you know, like really good like animation also. I think like Goblin Slayer would have benefited there, but everything went into like Sword Art Online around this era. There was like something like with the I kinda talk like from a boomer, I suppose. I remember like some stuff. Like around a year, this session would like come out. A lot of like they did like contracts for a lot of animators, you know, from different studios. Like they wanted like the best guys to like work on that. They planned like to release like all episodes in like one go, you know. They need like a lot of those animators. Plan like to release like 50 episodes, you know, like 2 seasons, like a half a year. But at some point, you know, like there were not a lot of like anime that could like match that really. Like Rascal doesn't dream of a Bunny Girl Senpai or so. A Bunny Girl Senpai anime. This went like okay because you don't need like sick animations, you know. And the story carried that. With Goblin Slayer, the stories and characters are really good. But animations was like bare minimum kind of. Still the story, the art direction, the pacing carried it, but I was like thinking, man, they could have done it better if they had like great animators, you know, that they use for us for the online. But yeah. I talk like a lot sometimes about Goblin Slayer because I pretty much like the series. It doesn't really have like a setting where like saving the world, you know, fighting demon or whatever. Just like slaying goblins. And even like with this kind of monotonous task of like defeating like supposedly the weakest monster, there's like a kind of a story, trauma, something really dark in this world. And it's like based on D&D as well, like the setting. There are a lot of references to that and like Lord of the Rings. Pretty interesting. But currently on hiatus, like since the author's like working on other projects as well. Like I think like Blatant Bastards or something like that. But I really think like, man, they have a good idea with like writing. I think I will not add no text there really for now. Maybe like if I upload it, like there will be some text there. Maybe I like put the text in the tweet, who knows. But like something of a meme. Like a sad one, kind of like damn, this is real. Yeah, I don't need the sketches anymore. I leave it like that. Gray. Yeah, I leave it like that. Just work on the line weights. Okay, think. Therefore I am. So I will like do something simple here. No color. Usually I like to do color, but I do it like manga wise, I think like no color will be like the approach here. I'm still not done, but I came to say I'm dying, that's all. Bye. Alright. I haven't read it in time. Let's say like... I haven't like noticed until now. Amazing that you're able to like chat in here. And one is able to chat in here while like working on a test. To be honest, like when it came like to writing like exam for me, I couldn't like really raw dog it. At least when it was like really important one. Like I test exams like usually like I test on like if you remember like what you've learned. Like if you can still apply like the things you've like learned. Let's say that I couldn't like really like apply a lot of like those things. Like, at least like, I couldn't like remember like a lot of that. That would be like whatever. Most of the times. That's like resort to like cheating. I'm done, OG-san. I had your BGM. Oh, fantastic. Hope you did like fine. But yeah, I did like cheat on an exam. Like a really important one. Like one. It was like around the COVID times. I think like I told the story before. I kind of like was like thinking maybe the teacher had caught on like that I did cheat, but I think like they were not really like aware like how, and if they can't really like prove it, you know, they can't like really like really can't prove it, you know, then yeah. What I would have done is that I like hid something in my breast pocket, you know. You should have taught me the answers as an age. I don't know like what your tests had like on but yeah, you know, like there are like those kind of shirts that have like a breast pocket, you know, like not the inner side but like from the outside, you know. And if you like stare down, you can like maybe like see, but I don't know like how this works for like women, you know. I mean, most people cheat on online tests, but that won't help me learn. Yeah, that's true. It was a Mayan story, history test law. Ah, I see, history. It kind of was like kind of on point when I like talk about history, like history lessons in Germany, more or less. Kind of aligned with that. Well, let's see how well you paid attention once you get the results out. Did you feel like that you did well? Well, you said like something about I'm dying, so I suppose not really. Should have done the new layers, I suppose. I feel like I'm failing this class. Yeah. Being like that you like did not well is like not a good feeling. That you dare laugh at that. I did not, I think. I did not. I mean, yeah, from failure you can learn properly. If it was like serious for you. But let's say if it was like something whatever for me, it was not really my priority, then I probably wouldn't like learn much, you know. Sometimes they offer like something like reflections or so, that they like go over like you know, we had like the exam, some failed, some succeeded, you know, let's go over like the answers, like how the correct answer would have been, you know, something like that. That would have been a case like in some German schools or so. It was possible to like compare answers. And then be like, I was so close to the real answer, something like that, you know. And this can be like something. I mean, a grade 4 test is going to make me fail, but the questions were a bit confusing. I see. Yeah, language can be a thing. It can be like especially like really tricky if you go like to Germany and like learn German when they do like those really elite-ish kind of formulations of like stuff. And for people who like learn German, it's gonna be super confusing, but even like those who are like native Germans can also get confused. The writing's like somewhat too difficult for like the kind of grade you like are in the test or whatever. What can be like nice is like when there's like a moment like where we can stop like in German classes, for example, and then be like, okay, we were like reading this book. If you have a question on like what certain terms mean, you know, raise your hand, something like that. This would be always like a lifesaver. My friend was learning German. She got really confused and left. Good. Good. If it gets overwhelming, you can always like, you know like where the exit is. I wouldn't really like recommend like many people to like learn the language really, since it can get like pretty overwhelming. They're like articles like, you know, you use like the for like the world, the book, the play, but in German they're like 3 different ones. You use like this for the specific like kind of situations. If it's like he or she, if it's like a living being, if it's like an object. And it can also be like used like for certain verbs, you know, like the play or so. What do you mean good? Yeah, I mean it's good to like run away from the pain. At the same time, there's like this quote, you know, from Sonic: no matter how fast I run, cannot run away from the pain. Like not really a Sonic, but it's like Sonic meme or so. Some dude like in a Sonic cosplay, and then it's like this kind of scenario. If you like run, you're like faster than like sound or so, but light is always faster. But then the meme was like, yeah, the pain, you know, cannot run away from that. Even if I quit my job, I will still have pain to deal with, for example, you know. Like, it will not always end like that life sucks. Cannot end that easily. There are always like some compromises. Actually, I could like, rather than like using hand-drawn stuff, like maybe like some compromise is such a funny word. Yeah, it is, right? I think I'm still gonna use the same approach. Like, even if you escape hell, and then you live like a good life, there's somewhat like the crowding feeling, you know, that when a lot of things go well, something bad is going to happen at some point. You know, I learned so much from whole life thanks to you. You did? What did you learn? I may ask. Ah, the sabotage. Ah, like that they rebel, the Holostars? I did like one day like this kind of doodles. There was like Shien, for example, like playing like Ketsu Batara. So Ass Battler also. He stuck like he undressed himself. And like with this mocap, mokopi, you know, he could like use this 3D model and like you know, something like that. Joy-Con between his butt cheeks or like under the underpants also, pantsus, and then like spot like that, something like that. A ton of names and some dynamics, also their personalities. Yeah. I mean, of course you can watch Hololive or like Holostars and learn about them yourselves, but if you watch like a Holo Pro fan, you know, like a fan of talents, and they tell you about what they enjoy, there's also like a way to know about, to like learn about stuff. But the thing is, like, my knowledge like goes only like so far, like with some clips or like some years where I was like actively watching. But I can still like check. I probably can still like check on like where I can like update my knowledge a little bit more. And like see. Well, I only know about Niji before, so trust me when I say I learn a lot. Yeah, even about Niji I know like a little bit. But it's like mostly like old gen, like 2019, 2020 or so. And then later on I don't really like keep track because they release so many new waves, you know, it's like hard to keep up any further. But I know like but you know, Susara Lulu, like she was like an OG, and then be like, yeah, Con Lulu. Like the thing is like why people call her Eldritch Goddess also. The art for the mods look pretty good, but the riggings are always like that amazing, you know. And the way it was like with her movements, of her expressionness and so expressfulness, yeah, was a little bit weird. That it seemed like kind of creepy. So like people lovingly called her the Eldritch Goddess also. Oh, my sleep paralysis demon or something like that, you know, yeah. And she's a hardcore gamer. Rather than like hardcore gamer, she's really tough. Someone who doesn't give up, and even if she dies like multiple times, she will rise up from the dead and then like fight you again like a zombie. And while she still has like this Eldritch Goddess kind of like expression, you know, this was like kind of thing that can be like, if you draw a manga, can be like really badass but also scary. So many ways I can't keep up, lol. Yeah. That's my feeling. She sounds dope. She is. She's like the grinder, you know, the hard worker, more or less. I'm pretty much like that. I can't like really watch her much, but there's a good kind of impression on me, you know. I think I need like something from here. Manga material. Usually I don't use all of that. It's like mostly hand drawn, but I think like I need something because I cannot recreate it via hand. There are also like some kind of Niji Sanjis I would like to learn more about, you know, when they were like active. Like there were some graduations, you know, and then be like, man, I actually like this one, you know. Said I can like get to know them really. Like most in the case of like one Niji Sanji member graduates, it's like a termination more or less. Like that all videos, live streams would be like deleted from the, would be like wiped from there, except like the covers maybe because money went into those. And then yeah. I got my grade. 80% is enough for me. Let's go. Yosha. It's amazing. How do I apply that? Like this? Ah, okay, like this. Just drag it onto that. Yeah, the infamous Niji gradations, yeah. They were like... I wanted to like know more about Kuro Chitose, actually. When I looked like into her, man, her cover songs were really amazing. I liked her voice. And then her last dreams and so, the setting was like that she wanted to like seek like a peaceful death or like wanted to die but was immortal also. And then like with the gradations, you know, I can finally die or something like that. But when I looked like into more, the reason why gradation also was kind of like oof. Was really oof. Kind of like company failed her also. They were unable to protect her, or in a sense, you know. I can finally die. Deep. Damn, yeah. And then there would be like, you know, around this kind of setting, like other people, you know, as well. Maybe like friends or so, but sometimes the settings of their characters are like fitting so damn well. Sometimes the art style. Regarding to like something more positive, like with Niji Sanji, like kind of like combinations. I like the duo of like Ex Albio, like a knight, you know, someone who looks like a knight, and then like Ars Amal, like someone who looks like a witch, wizard girl, something like that. And it was like something like love comedy, like the interactions also, I felt like. Yeah, the company is bad for talents, but they're so cool. The concepts, the ideas, they are just so raw. And when the talents are like, I just love them, you know. But yeah, it's like the thing about like Japanese companies, so something sometimes. But you will at least like find like one favorite, you know, there, so it's not all like doom and gloom. But as like more and more ways come, you know, it's like hard for me to like get attached because they don't give me enough time to like connect to like one of those. The thing is, don't get too deep and you enjoy it, yeah. Like in a sense, you know, things like face reveal, things like knowledge about their private lives, like who were they before. It's like also like, yeah, if you like want to enjoy that, if you like don't want to spoil for anyone, you know, there's like those kind of taboos like back in the days. Nowadays like more like loosened up, you know, because sometimes it turns out the company they were like in were actually like pretty bad, you know, and then yeah. And if you want to support them, here they are. That's what they're doing now, something like that, something like that. But still, I'm still like careful about like this kind of informations, you know. Like I want other people to also enjoy it, if I on their own. I like the immersion, same. I would like say. If I'm gonna find out, then I will find out, but like naturally. Sometimes YouTube is like kind of doxing them for me. It's like, I didn't ask for that, but okay, you know. Okay, I think like nothing like fits here really. What I can do though, something like that. YouTube gave me a recommendation of a playlist for Fuji face reveals. I nearly fell to my knees crying. Yeah. You probably didn't click on it, but now you can't unsee really, you know, the thumbnails also. What's kind of like also pretty evil, you know, Niji-Sanji had like, not Niji-Sanji, Hololive, Indonesia exists, right? And they did like a song, which is called Identity, you know, Holo ID, Holo Identity. When you like type on the song, Hololive Indonesia, Identity, then there are also suggestions on like, hey, do you mean that? And then it's like something about the faces, who they are, the identity of the talents, you know? And it's kind of like, you know, why did you have to call it like that? So yeah. Also, there's a cover song, Identity, you know? Identity, ba 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 ba, identity. And you know, when you do this, and then oh, this one VTuber, and then identity cover, and then there will also be suggestions for like their identity, you know, it's like so evil, kind of like that you can't really like narrow it down to like just a song, you know. You also get the other like stuff. YouTube recommendations like work in a really ass way, like especially with the AI and stuff. Unless you like, and also like kind of plugins like Unhook also. Ah, that's bad. I would like believing that fairies or demons or whatever the character are. Let me dream, please. Yeah, it is like that. Shogunai. Okay, not like that, like more that. I think I can't draw this energy anymore. I think I'm way too happy now. Whatever. I'm too happy to draw like this, to be able to like do this kind of energy. Oh no. Canvas size? Right. Like, what do you mean you're not OG-san? That's literally impossible. I mean, I'm not OG-san. I'm young and fresh, you know. I'm not expired yet. You're just a little guy, come on! It's my birthday! Come on! I love the drawing, by the way. Thanks. A very young 84-year-old teen. 84 still young! I'm definitely not expired. But well, regarding like some you know, things that help you like not getting inspired that quickly. I like check onto something that can like help you like live longer. Like where a pet can help you live longer as well, you know, because you're not really alone. And this kind of thing loneliness like fix, you know. But it's also like some stuff I might like do like differently in the future. So you know, we humans like sit next to a furniture like called a chair, you know, where like you sit at a 90-degree angle for the most kind of part, you know, and the weight is like kind of like on the hips onto the upper like legs, you know, like the thighs, and it's like where it's like kind of concentrated, while your knees are like angled and your feet, only your feet are like touching the ground, depending on the chair. But there's something about the health kind of like stuff, like about sitting on the ground or so. The thought of immortality. I mean, it's also a method, like some woohoo magic, wushu, whatever kind of. And they did like some kind of like research on like different like tribes in the world, you know, like who's like the highest life expectancy, you know, and there were like some kind of like folk in Japan or so, and it's not really like clear why, you know, but it has something to do like with sitting, you know, like sitting on the ground or like at least like close to the ground. That you like build up the tissues or something like that. But I'm not really sure either, like how true all of that is, but yeah, Japanese people, tatami mats, they sit like on that, and it can like save a lot of space, material, you know. Actually, I'm still able to like stand up without like using my hands or like without any assistance, just like with my pure leg power alone or like with some momentum, you know. And but if you're like at 80 at this point and like can't do that without any other help, you know, like you have to use the hands or whatever. Yeah, it's hard to sit like that though. Yeah. You have like to adjust your body position like a lot of times, you know, but for like that, like cross leg, you know, or like you sit like on your lower legs or so, like kneeling. There are like many ways to like sit, and you have to adjust it like many times. This like why it can like be pretty helpful, but it can like help with your life as well. But yeah, this kind of evolved like into thing that we invented a chair when we can like sit in a same position like for hours or so. And if we limit ourselves like that, like our legs will not really like get to kind of training and to like adapt to like sitting on the ground again, you know. And as long as you're like young, you know, I think it's like it's still reversible, you know, like the damage from that, like potential like when you get older. Yeah, it's like just like kind of like life hacks kind of, you know, to like better the quality of your life. I think like sitting on the ground is not really bad, especially if you're like on a pillow or like a tatami mat or so, right? They have like those things like Japan, tatami mats. I think it's like kind of dope. Maybe I will get like something like tatami mats, you know, and like have like sliding door, and you know, and please take off your shoes and before you like enter, you know, hide those. Or where like strength, my grip strength, you know, or like my listening to you talk is so fun. Very underrated though. I don't know, like I sometimes talk like about stuff I know or like learned, and I like to share that, or just some other trivial stuff. The shoes, yeah. But yeah, if you enjoy like my talking, that makes me happy. And I did like something like for you, how you do like whatever task. Sometimes I don't really think that Satsudans can do like much, but after like listening to like a Vespa who was a Holostars graduated, you know, it's like pretty good. You know, sometimes people can be like pretty interesting, not necessarily like about the games they like play, but generally, you know, like some wisdoms they have to share. And sometimes can only like be in those random Zatsus or like chat streams. And yeah, sometimes like art streams as well. But it depends like on the artist. Some are like locked in, some are not locked in. I do not log in. Maybe that's like my tries are so bad, I don't know. That's also fun. They're my fave types of streams, TBH. When we are two. But sometimes I do have to play games. Well, not really. Sometimes I want to play games, you know, and sometimes I like want to like do experience like with singing karaoke songs a little bit more, and it's like that. But I think like at some point I will do a longer karaoke stream, not like 1 hour. Maybe like 2, 3, 4 hours. I will like talking as well. I could do that. What do you mean? I like them. They're adorable. I like them so much. Oh yeah. Like yeah, my chibis can be adorable. I understand that. I can talk about the chibis. But okay, let me save that one. I think like I will wrap it up here. Actually this is like a 2 hours kind of work, but I kind of like slowed down here and there just to talk, and yeah. I think I can do more, but let's keep it at that. And I think like next week I will try to draw Gerard T-Rex fort. I think this will be like a bit more optimistic, like a bit more happy, rather than like what I did like here. Not so dark, like more bright. Why are you making fun of me, Oji-san? Ah, those are your true colors. Yeah. My colors are like black and so grey. So dull and grey. No color splashes here and there. Everything sucks. That's how I am. But yeah, next week, Gerard T-Rex fort. He got like a new outfit. He looks really hot actually. And he changes like his kind of like way how he like streams. Like usually he was the loud guy, be like, "Hello everyone, I'm your devilish handsome bounty hunter Gerard T-Rex fort," or whatever. And but now he's like a lot more. He speaks a lot more softer. Hey, I'm the hot boy Gerard T-Rex fort. Hello everyone. And why he looks like is a new outfit as well. And yeah, I think like I'm gonna draw him like in this one. Looks pretty good. Gerard? Yeah, Gerard is the red one, yeah. From Armus. He's the leader. Dinosaur guy. And I kinda like his like mentality like regarding like the situation with the Holostars, you know? Like rather than like burning his bridges is like kind of a challenge, you know? Like face. A little bit of background to like Gerard. Before he became Holostars, he's like a big kind of content creator. A lot more subs than he has in Holostars right now. And he sees this kind of a challenge now with the potential downsizing of Holostars and maybe, you know. So he plays like with the cards he has been dealt with and tries to like, you know, make something out of that. And it's kind of the winner mentality there, right there. Rather than like giving up, it's like facing a challenge, and I'm looking forward to that. He's also an idol, so, you know, an idol is like someone you look up to, you know, someone who can like face those kind of like odds, you know, and maybe make something out of it. But don't like see, because this is an anime, this is not a fictional story, this is like real life. It's like happening right now, and we can like support and help him, and I want to draw like fan art of him, and maybe some of my followers, I don't know, maybe look into him, I don't know. So I will draw that guy. But for my next streams, this week I will like read an event story in Blue Archive. This is like where some of the Red Winter people go like to Comic Cat, and I will read that out, and then like this Friday, no, not this Friday, the Sunday I will like play Yakuza Feather. Sounds very good. Cool, TBH. Let's go. Any case, I wish you all a nice rest of the day, a good night, whatever time zone in the world you all are. With that, I'm gonna say bye bye.